First things first, we got to get to this Lions game. So I'm going to start not with what everybody's talking about. I'm going to start with the actual game itself. And this is a game where the Lions had multiple opportunities on offense to finish this game, to put the Cowboys away, and they did not do it. They were anemic on offense most of the game. Let me show you, or let me tell you, what their first half possessions look like. You ready? Field goal, punt, interception, turnover on downs, punt. You can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it when you're on the road against a team that you could face in the playoffs. You can't do it. You simply cannot do that. Down just 7-3 at the half when you very well could have been up, 13-7, 20-7. I don't know. Take your pick. However good your offense wants to be. You could have been. It could have been 7-6. It could have been 7-10. I don't know. But the fact is, you had multiple opportunities that first half to get ahead, and you didn't. All right, whatever. First half's gone. Can't do anything about it. Second half, okay. Touchdown, field goal. All right. Punt, interception, touchdown. A lot better. Now, the situation with those particular, plays obviously changes the circumstance. That field goal that led into the Dallas touchdown, that was a field goal after the JMO deep ball that Jared Goff beautifully threw. That's a drive you have to finish. You got to score a touchdown. At that point, Detroit was just got themselves a 13-10 lead. A 17-10 lead is a lot different than a 13-10 lead. Because then what did Dallas do? They did what you couldn't. They went and scored a touchdown on their next drive. And as good as the defense was this game, the defense at some point was going to give up a touchdown. I mean, obviously they gave up the big play where Derek Barnes just decided he didn't want to tackle. I don't know what that was. I heard some people speculating maybe it was he didn't want to get penalized for roughing the passer because he would have hit the hell out of Dak Prescott. I mean, it's a giant linebacker coming at you at full speed on block, and you don't even see him coming. Things aren't going to go well for you there. But at the same time, it's like, would you rather risk a penalty that results that in which if you don't get the penalty, you're going to get a safety, or best case scenario, he fumbles the football, you recover it for a touchdown, or you're going to whiff on the play and give up a giant touchdown the other way? You just can't have it. You just can't have it. And I don't want to riff on the defense. The defense played about as good of a game as they could against a team that is so good at home, giving up just the one big play. CeeDee Lamb was their entire offense. They could not run the football. They had less than 100 rushing yards. Outside of CeeDee Lamb, I mean, you had Brandon Cooks had a touchdown. Their tight end had a couple of nice receptions there. But CeeDee Lamb was their offense. I mean, the guy caught for like 200-plus yards. I mean, he had a night. He had a night on Jimmy Johnson's little Ring of Honor ceremony night. But whatever. I don't want to ramble too on about this. The other thing I wanted to point out about this defense is that Aiden Hutchinson looked like the guy that we wanted him to be. I mean, right now he's matched his rookie year sack total with the 3 sacks he had against the Cowboys. And again, the defense kept the offense in the game, and the offense did not reciprocate. And the other thing to consider is the defense really has been playing well the last 3 weeks. I mean, obviously you give up probably a little bit few too many points than you would have wished on Minnesota, but you had the four interceptions that game, and the game prior you held the Broncos to no points in the first half, no touchdowns the first half, and then in this game you held the Cowboys just 1 touchdown in the first half, but because your offense was unable to take advantage, we sit with a 1-point loss. And the other thing, on that 4th and goal, I was nervous about the call. I figured it was early in the game, so you can kind of risk it. You still have some time to make up for the lost ground if you don't get it, and you still would have them pinned in their own territory. But it's a risky decision. It's one of those things where, yeah, obviously, like, there are some people that were doing some really stupid things saying, like, oh, well, if we would have had that field goal, we would have won the game because we would have had 22 and they would have 20. That's not how this works. You don't just get to, if we got that field goal and they missed all their field goals and we scored 100 million points, they would lose. Wonderful. Why don't we have you as the coach, actually? But it's one of those things where yeah, you probably change the way they play, but if the defense continued to play the way that they did, it probably would have turned out to be a different game. And I think Dan Campbell's going to learn from that. But all of that being said, obviously I think this team should have played better. I really commend the defense, even though obviously near the end it was kind of a rough end for the defense, giving up a couple of touchdowns there when they had the lead, but whatever, it was going to happen. All of that to say, what the referees did on that final 2-point conversion is nothing short of stealing the victory from the Lions. Full stop, period, end of story. That's like, this is not, okay. Here's what I'll say about this, right? It's not like in 2014 in the playoffs when Pettigrew was a target, pass interference, call the flag, pick up the flag. We all know the end of that story. Lions don't win the game. They lose another playoff game. It's not like, let me think of another one. There's so many examples I can think of. It's not like the Seahawks punching the ball into the back of the end zone when that's actually a penalty. So what happened? Maybe the game changes there. It's not any of those. It's not even, I believe it was last year against Seattle when we got a stop on 4th down and there was some faux penalty that should not have been called. And on the next play, they score a touchdown. It's none of that. Okay. The Lions converted the 2-point conversion. They had a perfect play. Taylor Decker made a great catch. It was a play that Dallas didn't see coming. Nobody would have thought, game on the line, they're going to throw to their, offensive lineman. Nobody would have suspected it. And it worked out perfectly. Decker went and reported. The referee was aware that a lineman was reporting. It wasn't like there was all that happened. The only reason that play did not work is because the referee called the wrong man eligible and would not just say, oh, oops, I called the wrong man as eligible. Sorry, Dallas. Like, the problem was if he were to say, oh, I did the wrong thing, Dallas would be talking about how the game was stolen from them, which, look, I think they would have a case, right? But it's not the same thing. And the other thing, too, is if we would have converted and it would have been a holding call, it would have been an offensive pass interference call, it would have been a offensive offsides call. That's something you can't argue, right? Like, that's something that, or maybe if you can argue it, it's in the play, right? Like, it's not something that, like, you literally could not have run the play any differently other than, there was nothing you could have done. The play was executed in the exact way it was supposed to be executed, and it was just taken away from you because Brad Allen is a football terrorist. I don't know. This, yeah, right. This is another point, Mr. X. At least you can say that it's arguable, the one in 2014. Now, I think it was clearly pass interference, but the problem with that was not simply that the penalty was arguable. The problem was that they called it, and then they said, oh, actually, no, we changed our mind. But in this case, it was Dan Campbell put it out in this. This was one of the few times that I decided to watch the pressers after games. I almost never do this because I pretty much have no interest in that, and I usually pick up on it from social media or just regular media and what have you. But I was just like, okay, what do they have to say for themselves? Because all I knew at that point was illegal touching. Taylor Decker didn't report. What happened? So I'm listening to Dan Campbell, and he explains something that I actually, full disclosure, I didn't know this. They went over the plays with the referees before the game. Apparently, this is something they do. I genuinely did not know this. This is not me being facetious. I straight up did not know that this was a thing that they do in the NFL, where they go over, if we're in this situation, we might use this play. So be aware of it, right? And that's exactly what they did. And they know what the play is. They know, okay, this guy is going to report as eligible. Be aware. And again, you look at the replay. It's not like Taylor Decker was 100 feet off and was like, hey, ref, I'm eligible. And he doesn't even see who he is. Taylor Decker was like a foot in front of him. If you watch the video, it's him and I think a couple of other O-linemen who were reporting as eligible, including Dan Skipper, who was running onto the field, who we actually called as eligible for I don't know how. And Dan Campbell also explained, he's like, oh, well, like the ref said that Skipper reported as eligible. And it's like, well, no, Skipper didn't report Skipper did not report as eligible, or Skipper did report as eligible, but you can't have multiple players report. Only one guy reports. So Skipper might have been the one who reported that these guys are reporting as eligible, right? Yeah, it was Decker and Sewell next to Brad Allen. Thank you, Mr. X. So it's like there's no scenario where the referee should not be aware of who's eligible. And frankly, if you got the mistake, because the other thing that I caught was there was one of the refs in the crew who said, "Oh, I thought he was eligible. Like I thought he told you he was eligible." Like here's the thing that boggles the mind to me is if the other people on the field can identify it, if the coaches could identify it, if the player is telling you he was like obviously there's this like he could have lied about his eligibility, but that's the play was that it was going to him. Like Jared Goff would not throw to a guy if he wasn't eligible. Like they all knew. Goff told him to go report. And then I got to hear from stupid Cowboys fans, well, actually, did you know it was actually an illegal formation because he was, it's like, no, the only reason it would have been an illegal formation is if he didn't report. And he did report. That's why he was that's why he was just able to go out there. They're trying to talk on both sides of their mouth. They're trying to say, oh, well, he did report as eligible, but actually it's an illegal formation. No, because if you report as eligible, it is a legal formation. And then, oh, no, actually, he didn't even report as eligible. It's like, no, he reported as eligible. It was a legal formation. The Lions won that game. Full stop. They did everything they had to do, and the only reason that they lost the game is because numbnuts didn't know the difference between the number 58 or the number 68 and the number 70. Like it's again, you know what this is? And I don't know if I thought of this later that night or if I thought of it the following morning. It reminds me of a breakdown that John Boy Media did for Armando Galarraga's perfect game. If anybody's not a baseball fan, I'll get you up here. Armando Galarraga was a pitcher for the Detroit Tigers back in 2011. He pitched a perfect game. If you don't know what that is, 27 men up, 27 men out. Didn't give up a hit, didn't give up a walk, didn't give up an error, none of that. No fielder or no hitter reached first base safely. And final out of the game, the hitter hits a ground ball, goes to first baseman Miguel Cabrera. Galarraga goes and covers the base. Cabrera throws the ball to him. He catches it in time. Umpire calls him safe. Replay shows he was out. Every single angle shows he was out. Live, he looked out. The player who ran it thought he was out. And then he goes and gets another out. He's got the only 28 out perfect game. But the point of it is, like, the reason that people see it as a perfect game is because it's not like Galarraga gave up the out in the third inning, or gave up the hit, I should say, gave up the hit in the third inning, or he gave up the hit in the first out of the ninth inning, right? It's the same thing here. It's not like the penalty happened with 5 minutes left in the fourth. It's not like the penalty happened at the half. It's not like the penalty happened, when we were at our own 25. The penalty happened after we completed the drive and after we successfully came back. And it was a penalty that is not an on-the-field penalty. It is a penalty, basically, that is dependent on whether or not the refs identify you at this point. That's what it seems to be. I mean, like if you are not identifiable, if you do not tell the ref, hi, my name is Taylor Decker. I went to The Ohio State University, and I will be reporting as eligible. And the ball will be going to me. And the explanation, which is amazing, it's absolutely amazing to me. Is they're like, well, actually, the Lions, it was very confusing, and you really just tricked the refs. We're so stupid that in order for your trick plays to operate, we have to be able to understand them. It's like, dude, have you never heard of an lineman serving as like an eligible receiver in a red zone situation? We used this kind of play last year when we played the Vikings and Penei Sewell caught the game-winning catch. Like, this is not like Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson's offense is known for doing this sort of thing. We've had multiple plays where Dan Skipper has reported as eligible simply as like just a complete distraction for the defense because they know that we have thrown to offensive linemen before. And this time we actually did. And again, the only reason it doesn't count is because numbnuts, the human referee, decided he didn't know the difference between 68 and 70. Like, that's it. And don't even give me, oh, well, like, watching it live, I didn't hear the number, okay? Like, it's not like Dallas was cheated somehow because, oh, they didn't hear, what the number was anyway, so it would have been unfair. And second, first of all, I don't give a crap if it's unfair. Welcome to the world of sports. How about you don't give up a final minute touchdown after you've held the lead with 2 minutes to go? How about you ice the game on 4th down in our territory instead of kicking a field goal like an idiot? Like Mike McCarthy's stupidity bails him out, but when Dan Campbell does the right thing, he gets penalized. So, yeah. Here's a note here. I just want to clarify as well. Mr. X pointed this out. Also, multiple lineman cam report is eligible, which is straight up incorrect from the ref explanation. Thank you, Mr. X. Thank you. Very, very informative stuff. Hey there. What you just watched was actually a clip from a larger show that we do every Tuesday night. What are you doing Tuesday night? Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the like button so that you don't miss out on any more of our weekly shows every single Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope to see you there.